When Azeem Rafiq exposed cricket's hidden racism, he couldn't have known months later he'd be in a forest alongside two mass graves belonging to mainly Jews but also Polish families who tried to save them from the Nazis.
It's been harrowing. Hear about non-Jewish people hiding Jewish people, and then when they get caught, getting shot, but not only getting shot themselves, their children getting shot.
When anti-Semitic messages sent by Rafiq surfaced, he quickly apologised to the Jewish community. They encouraged him on a deeper journey of redemption, which brought him to Auschwitz, where I joined him.
I wanted them to decide what sort of what forgiveness looked like, or what I had to go through for them to understand that I'm really sorry. And I have done that, and I'll continue to do that. It's not my place. It's always the victim's decision as to what forgiveness looks like.
The serenity of the setting today belies its hideous history of torture, gas chambers and mass exterminations, where the cruelty of what humans did to humans is hard to process. Some people might say that this is a bit of a show and you're doing this because you got caught out. What would you say to those people?
Everyone's entitled to their view, but look, I can't stop people thinking that. From my point of view, I know that I've done it with the cleanest of a heart and trying to better myself.
B7608. That was my name.
The few camp survivors still alive recount their terrible experiences, believing they are as relevant today as they were then. A reminder of where discrimination at its most evil extreme can lead.
The one thing that stuck out for me, how the Holocaust survivors that I've spoke to, is how they talk about once you've listened to a witness, you become a witness yourself, and how sort of the passion they have to tell their story, to make sure that people know what happened, not from feeling any sympathy for them, but just to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Behind the glass, belongings from tens of thousands of innocent souls. While the horrors of Auschwitz are of course far removed from the racism crisis in cricket, Rafiq believes lessons learned here can inform his campaigning at home.
I've been lucky enough to do a few speaking events where I've been able to talk about my experience, and this is part of my experience now. Like I said, I'm a witness now.
Speaking up has not been easy for Rafiq, so would he choose the same course again?
I've had some horrible days, dark moments, but I try and think, what would it be like if I hadn't spoken out? I never said I was perfect, but I know what happened to me and happens on a daily basis to a lot of people is not acceptable. And there's a thing from speaking to the Holocaust survivors and different people, and one thing that hurts me the most is the bystanders in all of this. And by not speaking out, I'd become that bystander, and that's not something I can live with.
His visit here ended with the annual March of the Living from Auschwitz to Birkenau, where more than 1 million Jews were murdered. There is no doubt the exposure to one of history's darkest chapters has had an impact. Rafiq has emerged from it more determined than ever, and more convinced the steps he took and continues to take are worth it. Steve Scott, ITV News, Auschwitz.